Here we go. Nigeria's National Petroleum Corporation says the country spent about 2 trillion naira, roughly 5.8 billion US dollars to import petrol between November last year and February this year. That's quite a very revealing figure. So we have a lot of questions around this. That's on one hand. Then the petrol marketer says things are not yet stable. They need their money. The government is still owing 800 billion naira, so you can just do the math. If you have a pen and paper, I just keep it. That takes you to the doorstep of close to 3 trillion naira. Then you have the refineries still malfunctioning somewhere. So what should be the appropriate pricing of petrol? The minister of the junior minister, the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Dr. Kachiku, said 3 days ago that Nigerians will not have adequate fuel or stable electricity unless we go around appropriate pricing. So what does that really mean? Let's try and get a bit of sense of how all of this come together into our consumer markets for producers and for those of us who buy at the stores or by the roadside. Anyway, buying in traffic is illegal in Lagos, by the way. Don't get caught. Good morning. It's good to have you. Abundantly, Olutosin is one of the economists and research analysts at Financial Derivatives Company. These are figures coming at us like a blow on a daily basis. And it looks like this petroleum summit we had since Monday seemed to have revealed a lot. So figures keep coming out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so looking at
these are burning economic issues.
Yes, they are. They're the heart of Nigeria at this moment. You know, crude oil is something that everybody takes personal within Nigeria. Looking at this, it just suggests that the petrol industry within Nigeria has a structural problem and a pricing problem. Structurally means you're saying, on one hand, NNPC is saying they're importing about $5.8 billion worth of refined crude into the country, and then we're not seeing this fuel, you know, pass on to the consumers.
We're not seeing it at the gas stations.
We're not seeing it at the gas stations. There's a lot of scarcity, which causes inconvenience for, you know, most people, most individuals within the economy.
Between this period where the money was reportedly spent.
Exactly, which was December and January. But during those months, we actually saw, you know, huge queues, long queues. We actually saw, you know, at that point in December when the scarcity started, it almost felt like, okay, this is the traditional December issue, December scarcity we see exactly, it's going to go away. But this fed on till January. So
and into early February
exactly.
In Abuja, the country's political capital.
Exactly.
Yes.
That was where the heat of it was. But at the same time, when we should actually think about the fact that looking at, you know, the pricing issue of the petrol industry, yes. Oil prices, crude oil prices have gone up by a significant amount. In January, average crude oil price was about $68 per barrel. So in any sense, you're thinking about what these marketers are feeling at this point. It's like their cost price has actually increased. I think their cost price now ranges from about, the landing cost ranges from about 175 naira to 180 naira. Yet they're told to sell, you know, this petrol at 145. So
that's burning.
Exactly.
That's burning money.
Exactly.
Just light it up.
Exactly.
So just hold on a second. Would this explain, therefore, this figure? Part of what you just said about this $5.8 billion, that if, when we saw crude oil prices races through 60, you weren't here when I celebrated the $70 per
yes,
barrel. Maybe I'm regretting that now. I'm not too sure yet, but I've had the wine here, the celebration here yet, with Dolapo O'Neill for EcoBank Nigeria. Maybe we need to recall that and bring the wine and pay for the wine. Because now it looks like maybe I celebrated that too early.
Yeah.
So if crude oil price was high during this period of the end of last year and early January, we still around 60, middle of 60, that perhaps explained that the cost of bringing fuel or petrol into Nigeria during this 90 to 120 days by the NNPC actually justify this figure.
It justifies it, but at the same time, it also suggests that there are leakages within the system. It's like, even if they bring out that amount, why are we still facing scarcity?
Where is the fuel for it?
Sorry?
Yeah, where's the fuel?
Well,
yeah, show me the product.
But the only explanation we give for this kind of leakages would suggest that there's probably some smuggling outside the country.
Oh, okay.
Meaning that I read somewhere saying that outside the country they pay as much as 350 naira per liter for this fuel. So as a marketer, I would rather sell my fuel outside the country and benefit more times 2 or times 3 of it.
Smuggling is a lot about business.
It's good
smuggling
business
is about
for them.
making money.
Exactly.
Even though it is illegal.
It's illegal,
criminal,
yes.
But it's about making money.
Exactly. So, some of these marketers would either pick that over, rather selling it.
So perhaps we imported so much, and you look at the numbers, we imported so much, but they kept going through the borders.
It suggests, yes, that's the only logical explanation for the numbers. Yeah.
Yes, for the numbers, because we have to reconcile these numbers. Nigerians are having a lot of headache trying to. This is not a whole year. This is for just about 120 days.
Yeah.
Petrol import 5.8 billion US dollars. I just did. I'm very poor in mathematics or arithmetic, but I did a rough one about close to 2 trillion naira.
Yeah.
That's about a quarter of our national budget, isn't it?
Yes, it is. But at the same time, you also mentioned the subsidy issue, because that was the only issue that was the only solution in the short term before, we'll talk about refineries, Dangote refinery coming into play, which are long-term plans. But the only issue or the only solution to this scarcity problem would be, the subsidy. But yet, we see that there's outstanding subsidy of about
this subsidy isn't going anywhere.
Exactly, which is about 34% of our fiscal deficits, which fiscal deficit right now is about 2.4 trillion naira. But at the same time, right now, it ties into all other aspects of the economy. You have inflation numbers, which are tapering down. If at some point you stop paying subsidies, these marketers will be forced to charge higher prices. And NBS came out with a report where average petrol price was about 190 naira per liter, not actually the 1. So the 145 is only a theoretical number. So, if they don't actually pay these subsidies, then we find that these costs are actually passed on to consumers. And then what do we say with inflation? At this point, for commodity prices, not a direct impact, but at some point, the inconvenience of the higher fuel prices would actually feed on into consumer prices.